Hi, I'm Sue Hansen. I'm back again. And of course, as promised, I was able to follow up on Louis P. Touchette on the census, the Canadian census. I found him, he was 11 years old. I'll show you how I went about it. And I was able to find some members of his family that lived with him in Quebec. I was on the right path when I found him in the federal census, and I was able to find out more information regarding what his life was like back in when he was 11 years old and who he was living with. And I found that in a different kind of a way. What I did was I used from the Ancestry Library at home from Onondaga Public Library in Northern Onondaga. You can connect to Ancestry here. And I went from Ancestry's message boards, home search message board, charts and forms. I went to new collections, and I was able to, when I discovered this, I found this card catalog. And I've talked about this before with yearbooks, but not with using census. I was able to filter by location on new collections. I filtered for Canada over here on the left-hand side. I also filtered by date because I know exactly that his birth was 1849. We knew it was Canada. I knew Lower Canada. So obviously I'm going to go for Quebec. I knew that location. And then of course, date is important. So I went for 1870s. I decided to find out if I could locate information after the fact that he was born. And of course, after 1849, I was able to find directories. I saw, there's a whole bunch of things here. Canada, arriving passenger list. So I didn't think any of these things would really zero me in until I saw this Canada GenWeb Cemetery Index right down here at the very bottom of this page of collections. And this took me to a search page to put in Louis E. Touchette with the right spelling. His birth year was 1849. And that was all I put in. I didn't know the name of the cemetery. Of course, I'm still finding all these breadcrumbs. Eventually, I was able to narrow down a little bit more, and I came up with his gravestone as well that matched up P. Touchette, 1849, Canada, date of death, February 1905. This is important for my records that I will be keeping. His date of death was in the United States in Watertown, which jives with the information I was given from my family ancestral charts that were given to me. I can add that to my information. So you can see what a cemetery gravestone looks like from 1849 to 1905, and many friends. It also gives a description. Many friends of Louis Touchette, the well-known Court Street blacksmith, learned of his death. A little bit of an obituary here. Mr. Touchette was born in Canada 56 years ago. For the past 35 years, he had been a resident of the city and was a blacksmith of more than unusual ability, an exempt fireman, and member of Master Horseshoers Protection Association. So this is information that I can certainly add in and compare notes with my family. The connection with all of the members of the family, I mentioned before, John, Louis P. Jr., this is all him, Mary Touchette, all of the people and the sisters, Julia, and a couple of other members of the family that I did not know. What this led me to believe was that I was on the right path. And on this record where the gravestone is, I don't know if we're going to be able to get any closer, on the right-hand side under Find a Grave logo, Suggested records. This is useful when you're in Find a Grave to see that there are some connections to other places. Federal Census, which is where I started from in the US, United States Federal Census 1900, 1880 United States, and then down here at the bottom is the 1861 Census of Canada. So I clicked on there, and that brought me to this record right here, which is exactly what I was hoping for. It is a French language, so I have no way of translating other than using my broken French. On the left-hand side are the names of the people, and it shows the profession, of course. And of course, I'm not going to see too much more than the birthplace and possibly other members of the family that I may look up. I find Louis is on line 18. Erwin, focus in a little bit here. Here he is, number 18 here, Louis Touchette. And in this case, I see double T-E. So the Americanization brings me over to the French spelling. Francis is underneath number 19. And it looks like Jeremy as well as Elizabeth. A few other names that I think Audra, and that's the extent. So those are 5 members of the family along with Louis. I have saved this. I was able to save this along on my desktop, and there's a save button up here in the right-hand corner where that'll allow me to put this somewhere where I can examine it more closely. I can crop it. I can get closer up and save that information and then share it with family. So I'm very excited that I was able to get closer to Louis and to find out more by getting into Find a Grave. And that was just through going in through the collections right here at the top of the page. And on Ancestry from Home, you can get a lot of information from new collections. Didn't even search, I just browsed. And I narrowed down the country. And there are more filters. There's Australia, Europe, Mexico, Oceania, South America. So if you're looking around and don't know where to go and you want to browse new collections, I think it's I highly recommend it. It certainly brought me to my great-great-great-grandfather, Louis P. Touchette. So thank you for coming along with me on Ancestry. We'll see you again. Sue Hansen. Have a nice day.